Don't we all have one of those days when we get sick and tired of our dull, routinary 9-to-5 day job? They say there really is no such thing as the perfect job. There will always be upsides and downsides to any career we pursue. It's all about loving what you do so it doesn't feel like work.
In that case, let's get to work.
Oh, and be grateful you're not putting your life on the line, because for some professions, workplace hazards are a major part of the job description. Let's check out the 13 scariest jobs ever. What's up, Vacnatics? This is Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. Our top pick is one of the most relevant yet riskiest occupations, especially during a pandemic. You think you know, but you have no idea. Let's get started. Number 13, tower bulb changer. What if I told you there's a job opening where you can earn 20 grand and all you have to do is change a light bulb once every 6 months? Catch? Said bulb is on top of a 1,500-foot tower. That's a hard pass for me.
And there is only one thing we say to death. Not today.
But it's hashtag challenge accepted for this guy named Kevin Schmidt from South Dakota. In this clip that has garnered over 16 million views on YouTube, watch as Kevin scales the 1,500-foot high TV tower in Salem with nothing but a harness and lanyards. He's been changing lamps on the highest towers for over 10 years, sometimes having to endure winds that reach up to 60 miles per hour. It's not an easy task, but someone's gotta do it because the Federal Aviation Administration imposes a buffer zone of 500 feet between TV antennas and any aircraft. So that red flashing bulb must always work to help avoid any untoward aviation accidents. Stick around because our number one pick risks their lives to ensure humanity actually survives. Number 12, Rodeo Clown. In bull riding rodeos, the rider falls by either jumping out or getting bucked off, and that's the point when rodeo clowns step in. Their main job is to protect the fallen rider while they are being carried out to safety by distracting the 4,000-pound angry bull. In short, they function as human bait. Since he was 13, Trent McFarland has been putting on clown makeup and helping rodeo riders when things go awry.
Now, during the bull riding, I transition a little bit from a entertainer to more of a safety person. I'm in the barrel. I'm the barrel man, which means if something bad goes on, I can run up in there with the heavy artillery.
Since they deal with a lot of bull on the job, literally speaking, rodeo clowns need to be fast, agile, and extremely lucky. One wrong move can get them trampled on, tossed, or attacked by the raging bull. But apart from that, they also need to entertain the crowd. Imagine having to put on a happy facade while risking your life. Number 11, Sherpa. Legit mountain climbers who have tried to summit Mount Everest know one thing to be true.
Everybody says, I climbed Everest. Wrong. It is Sherpas who climb. Okay. It is Sherpas who take us to the Everest.
Sherpas are not medical professionals in the strictest sense, but they are considered doctors in their own right because they have saved hundreds of lives in the treacherous Khumbu icefall, one of the deadliest zones in Mount Everest. They do so by securing the path and the route for thrill-seeking mountaineers. The Sherpas dig through snow and ice, find stable rocks, and drill deep bolts to secure carabiners and ropes. They need to get across first, which means crawling the ladder when it's first laid out without anything securing it on the other side yet, and doing this at the height of over 29,000 feet. And when tragedy strikes, Sherpas also track and rescue climbers who plead for help. Number 10, Bomb Squad. That opening sequence from the 2008 film The Hurt Locker is arguably one of the most intense movie scenes of all time. Imagine having to carefully handle a suspected explosive without accidentally triggering it. Bomb squads are on call 24/7, and their main job is to respond to bomb threats and defuse the explosive before it causes catastrophic harm. Defusing bombs is always a tricky mission because it's like solving a deadly puzzle. They use bomb suits, mirrors, detectors, containment vehicles, and robots to help manage the threat. Still, there's always the imminent danger of getting blasted. Needless to say, it is an extremely challenging task meant for only the most highly skilled and trained people. Number 9, War Correspondent. Being a journalist is hard enough in and of itself. What more, having to report from the front lines of a war zone? These reporters and photojournalists risk life and limb in order to shed a light on the realities of war-torn areas. They usually live in the same conditions as the soldiers or civilians, living without electricity, dodging sniper bullets, and jumping into military crosshairs. But the horrors of war continue to haunt them long after their assignment, as war correspondents often deal with PTSD. That is, if they actually survive. Unfortunately, a lot of correspondents have become war casualties, like war photographer Chris Hondros, who died in April 2011 while covering the war in Libya.
The problem with war photography is that there's absolutely no way to do it from a distance. You have to be close. You can't do it from your hotel, you can't do it from across the street, across the bridge. You have to be there.
Number 8, aerial linemen. Servicing power lines already puts you at risk of getting fatally electrocuted, but what do you do when the power lines are situated in dangerous locations that are only accessible via helicopter? Well, you hire these kick-ass aerial linemen. So, just how dangerous is it to dangle on the side of a chopper while repairing the electric grid? This lineman couldn't have said it any better.
Helicopters are dangerous and power lines are dangerous. When you put the two together, you have double danger.
Aside from fixing high voltage lines while dangling from a helicopter at daunting heights, they also need to have the tools accessible at all times, which could mean tethering a chainsaw to their bodies. And that's triple the danger.
No way, Jose.
Number 7, underwater welder. These workers are responsible for repairing structures located deep underwater like pipelines, offshore oil drilling rigs, ships, dams, subsea habitats, and even nuclear power facilities. Their office is dark, has zero visibility, and can be extremely cold. Just like divers, they face multiple risks, such as hypothermia, drowning, and decompression sickness. Now, add to that the risk of possible electrocution and burns, and you have a recipe for imminent disaster, especially when you're not well trained. Sometimes, they also have to carry some weight with them that's nearly equal to their own body weight. Other underwater obstacles like rocks, reefs, and the objects being welded can also pose serious threats. That's why diver welders must be closely supervised and equipped with well-maintained gear. Number 6, clinical trial subject. We all know this too well by now. Clinical trials are the final step before a drug or a vaccine gets the green light for public use. It's become a lucrative profession in the US as quote-unquote human guinea pigs can pick up to $50,000 or more per year by undergoing trials. The work itself isn't really demanding. It mostly involves blood draws, heart testing, diet plans, and injections. But the real danger of being a professional guinea pig lies in the adverse side effects one might experience from testing the new treatment or vaccine, especially during Phase 1 and Phase 2 trials. In fact, in March of 2006, 8 volunteers who underwent experimental treatment for rheumatoid arthritis and leukemia reportedly began to feel pain, vomit, and lose consciousness within minutes after receiving the first dose. Yikes!
Never again.
Number 5. Snake milker. Aside from developing antidotes, snake venoms are also now being explored for pain medication and even cancer research. But of course, extracting a snake's poison is the most dangerous part of the process. Enter the snake milkers, who literally grab the slithering serpent by the head to try and extract the venom from its mouth. To give you some perspective, Jim Harrison, a professional venom extractor, has lost fingers, gone into a coma, and had his heart stopped from doing this job.
The last bite I had was from a South American rattlesnake, and I had descending paralysis within minutes.
On average, snake milkers earn around 30 grand a year, but Jim decided to give all his earnings from venom collection to the zoo, where his snakes are bred. So yeah, he's basically a modern-day superhero out to save mankind free of charge.
I do it just to try to save lives.
Number 4, smoke jumper. What do you get when you combine skydiving with forest fires? These brave souls, also known as smoke jumpers, considered an elite group of firefighters, smoke jumpers parachute out of small planes from 15,000 feet and head towards the edge of wildfires. If they're lucky enough not to be blown away by strong winds right smack in the middle of the fire, they land on rugged terrain, gather their gear, and engage in hand-to-hand combat with forest fires. They cut down trees and clear paths so that hopefully the fire slowly dies down. Intense drilling, air sickness, hard landings, crashing on boulders, trees falling, and encountering wild animals are just some of the risks these heroes have to face. And with forest fires getting more and more severe due to climate change, we can expect these smoke jumpers to face more close calls in their line of duty to protect precious life and property. Number 3, mountain drivers. Driving on mountain roads is no walk in the park. Abrasive terrains, dangerously narrow paths, perilous blind corners, it's practically riding on the edge of death. One wrong turn might send you and your passengers straight to your final destination here on Earth. But in some areas, there's just no choice but to brave the deadly route to transport people and important cargo. So mountain drivers need to muster all their courage and zen they can in order to traverse cliffside roads with calm precision. And of course, a lot of praying helps too. Number 2, high-rise window cleaners. Towering at more than 2,700 feet, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai is considered the tallest building in the world, so naturally, it has a lot of windows too. 24,348 to be exact. And to keep these glass windows squeaky clean, a heroic crew of 36 men scales the iconic skyscraper armed with good old soap and squeegees. The window cleaners climb all the way up to the building's spire and then descend using high-tension ropes. A nerve-wracking task even without howling winds and occasional sandstorms. You would definitely need nerves of steel here, and checking wind speeds will also prove to be a valuable skill.
Okay. So this takes 3 months to do the whole building.
Yes.
At the end of which time, you start again.
That is
Every window is cleaned 4 times a year.
Whoa! So much risk and effort just to keep the tallest structure on Earth looking nice and presentable all year round. Before we go to our number 1 pick, do us a solid and make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to choose all so you won't miss out on any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And of course, be sure to turn on notifications in your app settings. Number 1, Disease Detective. The scariest enemies are the ones we don't see, just like the COVID-19 pandemic. And before we can effectively defeat the enemy, we must know where they come from and how they came about in the first place. That's when field epidemiologists come in. Donning all sorts of protective gear, the disease detectives bravely face a viral outbreak right on the front lines. They are sent into the so-called hot zones with a hazmat suit as their main protection to investigate the cause of the disease, how it spreads, and how to prevent it. When COVID broke out, field epidemiologists were sent to Wuhan, China, where the disease first appeared to conduct studies and collect specimens for lab analysis. But due to the rapid spread of the virus, disease detectives continue to learn about it as they go along, providing the public with projections and correlations for us to better understand how the pandemic behaves. So, if you were to be given $1 million, which of these jobs would you be willing to try out? Let us know in the comments section below. Take home any of our exclusive gear by browsing our merch shelf or clicking the link in the video description. And while you're at it, take our quiz to find out how you can earn extra cash online doing what you do best. Awesome, right? You want to know who won't back down from a good challenge? Shaolin Masters. So go ahead and check out our roundup of the 8 reasons why you can't mess with a Shaolin Master. Till then, stay hardworking, Facnatics, and see you in the next video.